Warning, the following show will spoil the hell out of George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire books and the TV show A Game of Thrones. Also, you're probably going to find a fuck ton of bad language. The explicit tag is there for a reason.
Death and boobies, 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 death and boobies.
Hello and welcome back to the Ironwood Network Book Club. I'm your host, Septa Ironwood, and with me, as always, is Maester Ironwood. How are you tonight?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yep. Been out digging graves all day, walking through the mud flats, talking to the people who don't talk back.
Have you?
Yep. Good times had by all.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that.
Absolutely.
Because I hear you're supposed to get snow tomorrow, so are you in the snow?
No, I'm staying inside and playing video games when I run out of work to do. So I don't have to go outside.
Okay.
Because fuck that. It's goddamn May. I should not be having snow.
Right.
This is what happens when we cancel global warming for 2 months. Get fucking snow in May here. The hell is that shit all about? We're like a 3 to 6 band, too.
Yeah. I read that we're gonna get 3 to 4 inches.
The fuck is that? It's May.
I'll be warm at work.
It should be 70 outside right now.
I agree. It's been very below average.
Very below average. God damn it. Alright, well.
I think the best day so far was April 25th.
You would, of course.
It was very nice that day.
It was. It was a very nice day that we couldn't go out and do anything because we were quarantined at home. One day, this long national nightmare will be over, and I'll be 75 years old by then.
I'll be making my own bonfires.
Yeah. All right. Well, Septa, what are we here to talk about?
We are here to talk about Brienne.
Brienne what? Number
4? 5?
Nope, 5. Brienne 5, The Voyage to the Quiet Isle.
I guess. Yeah.
Well, that's what they do.
Yes.
All right. So, before I drop a synopsis on us,
Yeah.
I do have a haiku.
Go for it.
A lonely island and a quiet gravedigger. Seems like a nice guy.
Well, we don't talk to him.
No, but he scratches the dog's ear. Nice guy.
Dogs like him.
Yeah. Interesting. Dropping a few hints.
I don't think so.
You don't think it is who it is?
I think it is who it is.
Really?
Yeah. I think the guy's telling the truth. He's dead.
Well, that could totally be metaphorically speaking.
Oh, yeah. That part of him is dead. Now
Yes.
he's one. I mean, it very well could be, because we got no description of his face.
Right.
So.
Yeah, which is interesting. We didn't get that.
Brienne would have recognized.
Would she have, though, from a distance with a hood on?
Well, how far away does he have to be to scratch the dog's ears?
The dog ran over to him.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. They weren't, like, standing with the gravedigger.
No, but they were close enough that when he was throwing the dirt, it hit them.
Yeah, so that's what? 10, 15 feet?
I was thinking closer.
But think about it, right? So if he has, for instance, lost a shit ton of weight,
Was deathly ill.
got a haircut, get a haircut and get a real job.
But he didn't get a haircut. They said he had long hair.
Right. Just like
Anyone else.
Samwell Tarly does not have long, greasy hair. Nor does Lord Randall Tarly.
No.
Nor do the people that they speak to, like Septa Maribold. You might literally be the only person in the entire world who does not believe that this gravedigger is somebody we already know.
I'm not saying he's definitely not. I'm just saying
you don't believe it.
I'm just saying there's a possibility.
Well, of course. I mean, sure. There's a possibility that it's fucking Jon Snow. Probably not gonna be Jon Snow, but there's a possibility that it is. Could be Dickon Tarly for all we know. Don't think so. Very low probability.
All right.
I mean, anything is possible, but I don't know. You might literally be the only person in the world who is not pretty much 100% on board.
I'm fucking with you. I think it is.
Oh, okay.
I think it's the Hound.
Okay. Spoilers. All right. So,
please, who doesn't think that is?
Yeah, not many. Not many people. Especially when the TV show literally had him doing that in that one scene in season 7.
Oh, digging graves? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Well, anyway, before we spoil too much of it, let's get a synopsis.
Yep.
Brienne et al. Arrive at the bank of the ocean/river bay at going towards sundown.
Yep.
Where they are going to go and wait the night on the Quiet Isle with the brothers there, and then head into the salt pans via the ferry in the morning.
Yes.
They follow a circuitous route through the mudflats as the tide goes out. That takes them safely to the Quiet Isle, where they are greeted by the proctors and brothers of the Quiet Isle. They have some food. Brienne speaks with the head brother, gets a lot of information about Sandor Clegane and a gravedigger that lives on site for some reason. He's mentioned quite prominently several times.
Well, if he's one of the brothers, he's allowed to live there now.
Yes. And that's really all we get.
Yeah.
We don't get a whole heck of a lot in this chapter. There's some interesting things to talk about, though.
Yes.
Including one thing that I want to talk about that's faceless man related.
Right.
Oh, you caught it? Did you catch that sentence?
I did, yes.
Okay, good. All right. All right, so go ahead, Septa. Lead us off. Where are we going?
We are going to the Quiet Isle.
Yes.
The tide is out, and it's all like murky water and little tide pools, and only the faithful know how to get there safely.
Yeah, so you have to follow the proper path.
Yes. It's very much like the castle underwater up north that Brienne was at.
Yes. I also thought of because I say that all the men there are there doing penance. Yeah. They're penitent men.
Yeah.
And so all I could think of was the path of faith from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Where it's like, where first, like, a penitent man bows before God and he kneels and, like, the saw blades go right over his head and he's safe. And then there's, like, the leap of faith across the chasm and he, like takes a step out onto it and drops right onto this beam that's completely hidden. Yeah. Because it looks just like the walls of the chasm. Yeah. And so that's all I could think of. I thought of the castle up north with Bran and the step of faith from Indiana Jones.
I didn't think about that, but it's been a while since I've seen it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But now that you've said it, it makes... Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I've noticed that she's actually not that far from where Jaime is.
No, she's really not. He's in Derry.
Yes, he was just in Harrenhal.
Yes.
So he could be in Harrenhal at this point.
No, he's in Derry. He's going the other way. He's going from Harrenhal to Derry to River Run.
And Derry's not on the map. That's how tight.
Yeah, it's a small little backwater. But yeah, so he is heading in her direction, though he's stopping at River Run along the way. Yeah. And that's his final destination, so far as he knows. Yeah. See how that plays out for him later on in the book. But
Brienne and her group follow the Septon out into the mud. Yep. And they take this windy, go south, go north, go full circles.
Turn around 3 times, toss some salt over your shoulder. Yeah. Do 3 jumping jacks. Yeah. To get to the fucking island.
The dog's definitely done this before.
Yes, and by the way Septa Maribold is greeted, he comes here quite often.
Yes, well, he does make his rounds every 6 months.
Well, this time they said it's been over a year.
Yeah, it's been a while since there. Mm-hmm. They are met by 3 I say brothers, but
proctors.
Proctors, that's the word. And these proctors
of the Ori.
No, these are not Ori. Absolutely not.
Proctors of the Ori.
No. They're only allowed to speak once every 7 days. Yes. 1 day out of every 7. Yes. Not just once.
Which is better than the people who are below them because they can't speak at all.
Yeah. Well, the one does say, the healer, that he didn't speak for his first text.
Yeah. Although they are allowed to speak during confession because it's hard to confess without speaking.
Yes, that is because they haven't invented sign language at this point.
Well, actually, no, they might have because he says with sign.
That's true.
So they might very well have a form of sign language.
Signs and gestures. Yeah.
They might very well have sign language. It might not be American Sign Language, but they might have WSL. Right. Westerosi Sign Language. Never know.
That's fun.
I'm led to believe that they do from that sentence.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So, Sir Maribold. Septon Maribold introduces everyone. They're shocked that Brienne's a woman.
Yep. We don't get many women out here.
Yes. If they do, they're sick or they're heavily pregnant.
Right. And they need to be taken care of.
Yes.
Yep.
Because apparently the healer here on the island heals better than the Maesters.
Yeah. Sounds like a faith healer. I don't know about that.
Well, these are men of the faith.
Right, and that's what I mean. Like, faith healers will tell you that they heal better than hospitals, and yet during times of great sickness, they won't walk into hospitals and heal people.
Yeah. Well, you know.
You know, just saying.
Maybe it's just a kid going around giving everyone HIV. Whatever.
Who knows? Plague. Handing out plague. Dragon scale.
Exactly. Well, the kid did that in house. He had plague or whatever.
Yeah.
He was healing people with it.
Yep.
So the introductions go around and they head up towards basically the center of the aisle where...
There's a hobbit home.
And on the way up, they pass a graveyard.
Yep. A lich yard.
A what?
A lich yard.
What's a lich yard?
Graveyard.
Okay.
They just called it a lich yard.
Okay. And there is a disabled man digging. He's limping on one side, but that's all they can see.
Yep.
But he's bigger than Brienne. Which doesn't happen very much.
No, so yeah, there are few and far between.
3 or 4 men in this story
that we've met.
That are bigger than him.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Not many. All right. So we spend a long time talking about this Gravedigger in this chapter.
Yeah, he's mentioned quite a few times.
For just being a Gravedigger.
Yeah.
He's mentioned more times than, like, the important people.
Yes.
When you think about it. Like, he certainly gets mentioned more times than Pod. Certainly gets mentioned more times than Sir Hyle.
Yes. Sir Hyle's like a back piece.
Right. But this Gravedigger, for some reason, gets mentioned over and over and over and over and over.
Like, they sit and have a conversation about him being right there, saying he's one of the new recruits.
Oh, he's new,
And then he's mentioned later at the dining hall, because he's one of the new recruits. He's serving people.
Yep. Yeah, so I think everybody who's listening to this by now knows who it's
pretty sure they know.
Just about everybody who reads these books thinks that this Gravedigger is. The Hound. Sandor Clegane.
Yes.
Which would explain many a thing, including the fact that dogs love him. Just got a nice little tie in there with dog. Yeah.
His horse is in the...
Yes, this big, black, giant stallion that nobody can tame.
Yep.
Is in the horse barn.
Yep. Brienne didn't realize that it was Stranger.
Yes.
But they did talk about Stranger because they call him Driftwood because he was found by the river.
Yep.
And they tried to hook him up to a plow, and he broke a guy's leg.
In 2 spots.
Yep. And so then they tried to geld him.
Yep.
And he bit off another proctor's ear.
Right. So,
but these horses, like Stranger, are bred for war.
Yes.
These are war horses.
And it only answers to one guy.
Yes.
Sandor Clegane.
Yes.
So, if Sandor Clegane were truly dead, that part of him, maybe that explains why his horse has gone wild. Well, if that part of Sandor Clegane is dead.
The horse doesn't have any direction at this point. He's locked in a cage.
Yep, absolutely, which no wild animal likes.
Yeah.
And horses are wild animals, yes. They are. Not anymore, but they used to be.
I don't know. The Spanish stallion or the Spanish Mustangs
there are
still
some
absolutely wild.
Yes.
You do not touch those horses; you will get fined.
Yep, there are still some around the world.
Yes,
that are wild and good to go. But so everybody and their brother believes that this is Sandor.
Yes, except for the people who are in the books that it's not.
Right. Well, but here's the thing, right? He knows it is.
Right. Because he's shocked to find out that Brienne is looking for him to kill him.
Yes.
He defers the conversation.
Yes.
He hesitates when he's mentioned.
Yes.
And then they eventually tell her that he is dead.
Yes. So we're going to skip right past dinner because nothing happens there.
No, just
random
the Hound is
conversation.
mentioned again.
Right.
The boys are sent to their rooms.
Yep.
Pod is not allowed to sleep in the same room as Brienne because, much like my parents, if a man and a woman aren't married, they're not allowed to share a room.
No, that's not true. Because they never once told your aunt and uncle they couldn't share a room.
No, it's just their children.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but, yeah. So, and then so Brienne gets like her own little cottage, like out in the middle of nowhere, where the ladies with all their lady parts and lady problems are sent.
Yes, well, because it's an island for men, and the women go there when they're in dire need.
Right.
So
Of a healer. Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
And I think it's also to kind of protect the women from
The men.
the men's
old
desires. Yeah.
Needs, their Bidenisms.
From before.
Right, because just taking a vow of celibacy makes it possible, or whatever. Taking a vow not to rape people makes it possible. Like, it's Sandor Clegane.
I don't know. There are some children pedophiles that come out of prison and say they're so...
You're healed. Yeah. But, so the head brother, or whatever the hell his name is, goes with Brienne to her cabin.
The healer.
Yeah.
He used to be a knight.
Yep.
He shows her to the cabin. It's very modest and says, "May I sit? I think we..."
Yes, because he wants to talk about A, her.
Yes, and B, Sandor Clegane.
Yes.
So this is like the only important part of the actual chapter, aside from who's the Gravedigger.
Right.
So everyone knows at this point they're on their way to Salt Pans because they heard that Sansa is with the Hound.
At Salt Pans,
Near
Salt Pans.
So she is going to save Sansa from the Hound and kill him. The Hound.
Yes.
And this man knows that that's...
Yes. And he tells her several interesting pieces of information.
Yes.
First of all...
Basically, her story, her
plan
is just shot to shit.
Decimated. Yeah. So... Yeah, it is not Sansa Stark who was with the Hound.
It was Arya.
Arya Stark. Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
So this is the first mention that Arya Stark is alive.
Yep, in Westeros.
Since she left King's Landing.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from the Band of Brothers.
Right.
Because they're not going around telling everyone.
Right.
And the boys that she traveled with Yoren, either they're dead or she's not Arya, she's Aerie.
Right.
So...
I want to ask a question.
Okay.
That I want to get your answer for, and we'll see what happens later on in the books.
Okay.
Does Lady Stoneheart know that at least her daughter Arya is alive?
No, I don't think so.
Because she's taken over the Brotherhood Without Banners.
Right.
Which is the group that had Arya.
So you think the group told her that Arya is alive?
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Did they or didn't they? I'm asking what you think.
I would assume that they did, because Catelyn, if not anything. Or was Catelyn. And if she's here to bring justice to her family, I think if she found out that Arya wasn't dead and was alive, then that made her direction and goes about things.
Okay.
Because then it's not just about Sansa, it's not just about Bran, it's not just about Rickon, it's also about Arya.
Right, it's about a living daughter.
Yes.
That you could possibly find and connect with. Yep, absolutely.
Considering at this point all her children are...
Right, although she thinks that they're all dead.
Yes.
When in reality, only Robb is dead.
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. So we learn that... we learn that it was not the Hound who had decimated Salt Pans.
Right, because the Hound actually died in this man's arms.
Yes.
He had been traveling the river because the river gives them gifts. There's a loot and stuff that flows down the river.
Including Rhaegar's rubies.
Yes, they have 6 out of 7.
Yes.
But they also clear out the river with the bodies and the dead animals, carcasses and stuff. And they clean because they believe it's part of their responsibility.
They owe it back for what they're given from the river.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, he came upon the Hound one day.
Because he was screaming.
Yes, and the Hound asked him something very specific in this man's words. Not in the Hound's words, but in this man's words.
Mercy?
Not just mercy. He asked for it in a very specific... This guy phrases it very specifically. Do you remember how he phrases it?
No.
He asked for the gift of mercy. Who gives the gift?
No one.
Faceless men.
No one.
Right. And now we had talked about how the faceless men worship the many-faced God.
Yes.
And according to Septa Maribold, so do everybody who follows the faith of the Seven, because in reality their God is one God with 7 faces, not 7 different gods.
Yes.
So this is just another tie-in between the faith of the Seven
and the faceless men.
And the murderous, crazy insanity of the faceless men.
Yes.
And that the Septon here, this guy, who's not really a Septon, but still follows a very faithful man, phrases it very specifically as the gift of mercy. Because that's what the faceless men call it, is the gift.
Yes.
So, another little tie-in
Yes.
Between-
And there'll be one more when we're done with this conversation.
Yeah, a little tie-in to the faith and the faceless men again.
Yes.
So he tells her under no uncertainty, the man who was Sandor Clegane is dead. That man is dead.
He died in my arms.
Yeah, he phrases it very specifically again. He tells her, that man is dead.
Yes.
He doesn't say Sandor Clegane is dead.
He says that man.
That man is dead. Meaning that the man who Sandor Clegane was is dead.
Yes.
Because he's no longer this
Yep.
rough and tumble fighter guy. He's a quiet, penitent gravedigger.
Yes.
Yeah.
He couldn't no longer give him the gift of mercy because he had taken a vow not.
Yep, no more killing.
When he stopped being a knight, he took the vow. So he bandaged him up.
Yep.
And brought him home.
Yep.
Because how else would he have gotten Driftwood there, aka Stranger?
Yeah.
Stranger wouldn't have gone there willingly if the Hound had not gone.
Correct.
So.
Yep. Absolutely.
But then the gentleman says that he buried him and then covered his grave with rocks to keep the birds feeding.
Yep.
Now, if they don't do that for everyone else's graves, why would they do that for his?
Maybe they do it for everybody else's graves.
Well, it wasn't mentioned, but my first thought was, would they do that to try and deter people from digging him up?
Quite possibly.
To see if he's
which
really dead?
Somebody already did.
Well, no.
Well, somebody
because
has.
when they were done putting the rocks, they put his helm on top of the rocks.
Right, where somebody came along and took it.
Somebody came along.
Right. And I know who that is, but you don't.
I do not.
It is Lem of the piss-colored cloak.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Please tell me Lem didn't.
Lem is not a nice, cheery guy like he is in the TV show and the books.
They did that to salt pans? Okay, hold on a second. I'm confused because as of right now in the books, I thought the war hadn't touched salt pans. So why would they do this?
Why not? It's one of the few places left that has money things to take.
Well, I guess that makes sense. But if they were if they were looking for people that had done Catelyn Stark wrong, no one at Salt Pans did count.
Remember what we learned in the last chapter with Jaime about the Brotherhood Without Banners?
What's that?
They've split
that
into two groups.
But I don't know anything.
So not all of them are following Catelyn.
Right. I don't know about those that are following Catelyn.
Right.
So.
Yep. But yeah. So so somebody's out there roaming around with a big old dog helmet on.
Well, you just said it's...
Yes, Lem of the piss-colored cloak.
I don't want to believe that.
Okay, well, you don't have to.
I'll find out later.
You will definitely find out later, whether I'm lying to you or not.
Well, you've lied to me before.
I have indeed. Lied to you before to keep certain things secrets.
Yes.
But, yeah. Now, you wanted to mention one more connection between the... Because, really, there's not much else to talk about. This guy gives...
It was a sentence by Pod.
Uh-huh.
Let me find it because I can't. So Maribald was talking about how the men of the Isle can't talk unless it's their seventh day.
Mm-hmm.
And Podrick Payne says, I thought no one could talk. Well, not no one, the other brothers, not you. Is that the sentence you were talking about?
No. I don't know. The only thing that I saw that linked up was the gift of mercy.
Okay, well...
You just saw it because it said no one.
I did,
okay.
Yeah. Because I had the same thought as you, that these guys were more towards the faceless men than they were the seven-pointed star.
Well, no, what I'm saying is seven-pointed star and the faceless men are very much intermarried.
The way Maribald has said that the simpler folks see it as seven gods, whereas we see it as the many-faced god. So Maribald calls it the many-faced god, or whatever he calls it.
God with seven faces.
And the men are no one. And Pod says that he thought no one could talk. And that's what made me think there's more correlation.
Okay. But, I mean, that's fine.
Between the faceless men and the seven.
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, what I really saw was that whole gift of mercy thing.
Yes, that too.
That's blatant.
Yes.
That is 100% blatant on George's part, tying the faith with the faceless men.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, they come from the same place, right? They come from Essos.
Yes.
So.
And then the healer does the same thing every other man does and told Brienne that she should go home.
Listen here, little lady.
At least she has a home because now that her end goal
is gone,
because it wasn't Sansa, it was Arya, but now who knows where Arya is,
Right.
let alone Sansa, because now Brienne's got to look for 2 girls.
Mm-hmm.
She should go home, because at least she has a home to go to.
Unlike most people these
Unlike
days.
most people, and he didn't want her to deprive her father of having it.
Right.
And for some reason, she just spills out her entire story to him about who she is and her history, about being an ugly girl, and why she needs to do what she does.
Yes. And that's where we end. Good stuff. I like this chapter.
Yeah, it was a good chapter.
I like this chapter. I like the Hound being here, knowing that he's still alive, kicking somewhere, that he's not actually being a depraved monster, which is great.
Right.
And I like the little bit of lore that we get here with the Faceless Men.
Yes.
And the Faith of the Seven.
Yes.
All right, so we need a title.
Gravediggers.
I had Gravedigger.
Okay.
All right, Gravedigger. Not just an amazing monster truck, also a great chapter title.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Gravedigger.
Yep.
Digger. Back in the day, Gravedigger was the shit.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. That's what Digger's Diner comes from. It's the guy who...
Oh, the diner down on the Outer Banks?
Yeah, it's the guy who drove and owned Gravedigger.
Yeah, Gravediggers parked out front.
Yeah, Digger's Diner.
Yep.
Yep. Absolutely. All right, so that is the end of Brienne.
Yes.
Do you know what chapter's next?
Cersei.
Cersei. Ugh.
Yeah. And at that point, I am all caught up to where I was.
Yeah. So according to my Kindle, at this point, we are 70% through all of the story that exists so far.
Yeah. So we've only got 30% podcasting left today.
Yeah, apparently, 30% of podcasting left. Our podcasting percentage is getting low.
Yes.
But yes, so thank everybody for tuning in.
Yes,
we
thank
hope you
guys
are staying sane and crazy in your...
you can't hope they're sane and crazy.
Sure I can.
You can say sane and safe.
I like a nice balance of sane and crazy. Kind of like you.
Oh.
A nice balance.
Am I in a nice balance?
Sometimes.
Okay. Okay.
I consider myself a nice balance of sane and crazy.
I think you're more sane than crazy.
Probably. If you're in a state where you're allowed to go out and do things, be careful.
Yeah, wear a mask. I don't care.
Cases are already on the rise. I saw crazy numbers where if you take New York and New Jersey out of the current numbers of cases in the country, that they're not plateaued. They're going up.
They are.
The only places in the country where the cases are on a consistent downturn is New York and New Jersey.
Yes.
You take those out of the numbers, the cases are just going up.
Yeah.
So just because your state is open doesn't mean it should be. So be careful.
Yes, and please
If not
wear
for
a
yourself,
mask.
yeah, if not for yourself, for everybody else.
If you believe it works or not, it's not to protect you; it's to protect others.
Yes.
More people are asymptomatic than anything else, so please just do
some due diligence.
Yes.
Other than that, for extra listening pleasure, I guess, we just released our marathon coverage of Little Big League.
Yes.
On the sportsmoviepod.com podcast.
That took us a while to record.
Well, it's a marathon episode of 3.5 hours talking about that movie and mid-90s baseball.
Yes.
Me educating Alicia.
If you got a car ride, there you go.
Yeah, me educating Septa on mid-90s baseball.
Yeah.
Good stuff had by all.
Yep.
Other than that, for questions, comments, concerns, complaints, how to contact us, how to subscribe, how to support the show, all that can be found at our website, IceAndFirePod.com. We will be back on Tuesday with Cersei. And so until then, stay safe and have a good time, guys. Bye.
Bye.